You literally live on planet voodoo. You can't drive down the block without seeing voodoo symbols everywhere. Almost every corner has a building related to voodoo. Without voodoo, the world would not exist. Well, culture. You see, some about the zombies is they can't rename their words. But you know what? Actually, I think what it is they name these words on purpose because they're so arrogant and full of chutzpah that they laugh. You know, like they're raping children all day, and at the hospital, at the voodoo center over there, the voodoo pit with all the voodoo symbols on it and shit. Like, damn, they put like there's 5 voodoo symbols on it. It's like all together as one. Saint Jude marches in with the voodoo and shit. But you got like graveyards. The Pope comes in and he's like, yeah, you give me all your money and let me rape your children, we'll bring your family back to life and your friends back to life one day. Give me the money. And then you're like, yeah, we're going to bring him back to life. Voodoo, voodoo, voodoo. And then they got like every few blocks they got this thing called a cemetery, which used to just be called voodoo, the voodoo hut and shit, where they would like put corpses and they'd be like, we're bringing them back to life, give me all the money. And then everyone's like, oh my god, they're gonna bring him back to life. My arrogance, my narcissism, my obsession, I must have my slave come back to life. That child was gonna grow up and make me a lot of money. It was too early for them to die. That man is dead. Now I'll have no money and no house to live in. We must find a way to bring them back to life. Or I'm told that there's a different reason. Yeah, there's a different reason we lie constantly. Yeah, that this is the one time they're telling the truth is when there's a different reason. Yeah, there's a different reason. That's always the one time that anyone's telling the truth, isn't it? You can be assured that's the time. That's the reason. There's a different reason. When you see something and you're like, that person's raping a child, and they're like, no, this person, he has an attraction to children. He loves children a lot, and who invented that? Well, the voodoo priest of, the good Samaritans. There's definitely something in that word, and I forget what it is, but the good Samaritan, Dr. Fraud of the Bible shit. Of the 17,000 retelling of the voodoo warlord. No, it's the voodoo scribes, because the warlords are illiterate, so they can't read and write, and the priests are also illiterate and can't write, so it has to be the scribes, which those two classes might actually be the same people, right? Because they fucking... Anyway, so every time you see a cemetery, what is that? That's people, these people. They're people who spend like $100,000 to like store corpses underground with hopes that they can bring them back to life. Someday they're going to invent a magic spell. This has been 16,000 years, and there's only one cartoon. There's a cartoon. They got a cartoon of a story of a person who came back to life and shit, and I mean, they got zombie movies too. So technically, there's a lot, but everyone believes there was one time in history where someone died and came back to life, and and it's the voodoo story. It's literally this is the voodoo people. This is why they've got. You notice have you ever been to a cemetery? I used to hang out with them because they're quiet and shit, fucking. And they're good people, right? That's why you got to bring them back to life. That's where the best people are. That's why we spend so much money on the voodoo, right? You give all that money to them, and 16,000 years later, not a single person has ever came back to life. Yeah, 0% chance. But one day it's going to happen. This is what they've been saying for 16,000 years. Fucking, one day it's going to happen. You see how many people are obsessed with that shit? That's like, it's like standard. Like, people be taught, my doctor be taught, have you made plans for your death? It's like, yeah, to give people in another nation everything I own so you don't get any of it. Yeah, that's. Who's my caretaker? Oh, Zelensky. How about Zelensky? Zelensky's going to be my caretaker. How about that? How about Putin or Z? Fucking Z. How about Z? Fucking. We'll have Z be my caretaker. How about that? As long as it's not anyone here, because like that's all they're doing. They're extracting information about how to funnel money from me further and shit. That's all it is. It's just, how do you think the Pope got a gold palace? Do you think some 76-year-old person who is so gray and translucent they've never walked outside under the sun and to pick up a loaf of bread for themselves, yet alone plant some grain or something? You think a person who's 76 pounds has translucent skin because they've never had to go outside and fucking lives in a gold palace. Do you think that those things might be related to voodoo lies? Do you think it's possible that those graveyards are full of people who no one actually cares about, but are just used to funnel money to build a gold palace in Middle Earth? And, you know, Donald T, they've got their assorted gold palaces on every corner and shit. And not everyone's classy enough to be able to match colors even. So that's a genius thing in America here. Fucking, when they finally sent a Hebe into my life to force me to date them, who was a Mensa person, and the motherfucker could match colors. And they pointed it out too. So they're telling me this is a talking point, right? They're telling me go share the great word about what's really going on, because we're exposing ourselves, so you can be the only person to ever expose us. Fucking crazy, but it makes sense, you know. It's like, wow, like, yeah, I know a lot of people who couldn't match patterns and colors, and they were definitely dumber than you. And yeah, it's a curve. It's called a curve. I think it's just called school. It's fake and made up to begin with. But I'm wrong, according to the voodoo warlords who created it and shit. The voodoo scribes who created it. Voodoo warlords aren't generally as stupid as scribe people. Like, you think how stupid you are to write this shit down, you know, and think like, we'll just laugh at them and no one will ever figure out that we're making them buy bullshit full of holes. And we'll just call it Bible hole, full of holes and shit. The Holy Bible. Fucking. And rename voodoo. Fucking. Oh, look at this. We're going to take characters from the voodoo story and claim it's the anti-voodoo story. And. Fucking man, we just go on and on with that, so we're not going to. But we're on the one new exciting topic. Did you know you can store your family's bodies forever, and then one day you're going to be able to bring them back to life? Yeah. Let's forget how many people. Let's just ignore how many people hate their fucking families and friends. I don't know. I can't prove anyone ever liked anyone. That's kind of weird thing I can't prove and shit. Fucking, and but I've got evidence proving that it happens the other way and shit. Tons of fucking. Again, There's a lot of money to spend. People see that only 2% of people can do math, so when you do things like bury a corpse for $200,000 and pay monthly $10 a month for eternity to keep that corpse somewhat safe. It is rotting, it's decaying, it's getting slimy and moldy, worms are eating it. That's why you introduce these expensive caskets, because, I mean, well, aren't you going to be in for a surprise when your sexy little 2-year-old boy comes back to life and he ain't so sexy no more? Fucking, you're going to be like, wow, I could have just called up Jeffrey Epstein and gave him $2,000 to meet a sexy little boy. Instead, I invested millions of dollars in this. Fucking, so, yeah, voodoo. Could you guess that that all these years, all these decades, entire existence I've ever known, can you guess all these people telling me religion is voodoo? We're actually on to something. I was always confused. I was like, why are you saying religion is voodoo? Like, it's clear there are flying invisible reindeer. And it's clear these people are so fucking great and so intelligent. I should listen to every word they fucking say. And I should let them suck my dick when I'm a 2-year-old. And I should suck their dick when I'm 2 years old too. And all these great things, these people, and I should go train for war with them so I can go kill other people who refuse to let them have sex with their children and everything else. You know, we refuse to give them money, you know, because you gotta put them in a casket and bury them underground, because the Abrahamic religion of science says it'd be dirty to just throw a corpse on the ground and shit. So, let me put on my suit and invent the illusion I have a brain. Simply buying a suit increases my IQ by 10 points. Yeah, or you get a robe, it's 15. You notice that in a video game, if you wear a robe, it's 20 points of intelligence, but if you're wearing like armor and stuff, it's like 5 points of intelligence. Fucking, if any at all. None at all, really. Fucking. That's the way it kind of, that's the way it happens, right? Fucking. Because they're so intelligent, right? Because they put on you can tell the Pope's intelligent because he's on TV. And who else can get on TV but really smart, really talented people? Everyone knows that. Fucking, there's Elvis, there's the people who went to the moon, there's Chris Farley, and all those intelligent people. Man. I don't know. I don't watch TV enough. That's why I'm so stupid. That's why I sound so stupid when I talk, because I don't watch enough TV and shit. Fucking old people told me they was trying to keep me down, and they told me you watch TV, you become stupid. And I was like, yes, ma'am, don't smack me again and shit. I will not watch TV. Fucking. They want me to go out and touch grass and shit. I learned all about grass. It's green and it's yellow, and then it's different shades of green. You gotta be a genius to see that, though, right? Because, like I said, my ex was Mensa because she could see colors. You can't even make this shit up. All right, we're not making a single thing up here. We come here, and this is what's happening. Fucking, this is what they're telling us, and sure looks like it. It looks like that's a graveyard I'm walking through. It looks like those are corpses buried under the ground, and it looks like they're saying the words that they're going to bring him back to life someday. And it looks like that'd be the dumbest idea fucking ever, but I'm dumb, so I'm just on repeat here. I'm just repeating all this dumb shit. Fucking, I'm kind of like the TV or the internet. In fact, some people have told me they have found my videos on the actual internet, so that more solid proof there that some of those people, that's probably where they got the idea that stuff will make you stupid. Fucking, Yeah, ain't that crazy? They're going to raise the dead. Now, what's the problem with voodoo? Why do we have to call it something other than voodoo? Well, there's many reasons for that, but I remember as a kid being educated on religion that what it is every city they go to and kill the people there, the people they rape and they force to worship a mixture of the master's religion with the new slaves' religion, so they would mix it together and shit. So every religion is bad, right? Everyone knows that, right? Too. There's only one true religion, and every other religion is bad, and everyone knows that. Fucking, that's like you wouldn't have religion if there wasn't a reason, if there wasn't an invisible enemy to oppose and shit. Fucking, there wouldn't be. There's no Satan. The story fell apart at some point, and they had to redesign it with turning the goat as they called off the intelligent people and bred their DNA into people, which made the humans dumber. They could make the story dumber. So it used to be like a visible goat, and no one outside of their own people were dumb enough to buy that. But their own people were like, "Oh yeah, we just blamed a goat for everything we did." And now nothing's gonna happen. Now no one cares. Fucking, they're trying to convince they believe that shit. Fucking, because they're retarded. That's where that stuff comes. That's where that genetic disease comes from too. Fucking, and of course, voodoo tells you it's something else, doesn't it? Fucking. But I think with your eyes you can visually see where it's coming from and stuff. Fucking. It's coming from people inventing voodoo. It's coming from Freud. Obviously, voodoo doctors are retarded. Why do they call themselves the rapist? It's because they're people who fucking think that it's funny and cute, everything they do on this planet. And it's funny to laugh at you when you do it. When they do it to you. Like, that's why when they sent their people to try to kill me and their people died in the process, that's why their people who set it up were in, as my friends were in my life, and they were like, and they were trying to convince me that was funny, because even to them, it's funny when their family members get holes put in their heads trying to kill people for them to better their lives. It's still, amusing on the same fucking token. Fucking, so, yeah, that's why they called the rapist therapist. What type of fucking voodoo AI slop word is that? Fucking. Anyway, so, just think of that, bro. As if you didn't know these were the voodoo practitioners, but that's all they do, right? The voodoo people write books. This is their entire existence. They write books saying, we are not voodoo. Everything they are, they say the opposite of we is real, we is living, we soul, we got souls. We is not voodoo, we is not homos, we is not child rapists, we is not fucking, we is good people, we is the best people, not just good people, they is the best people. Fucking the best, the smartest, the sexiest. The Pope. What do you think of every time you think of Miss America? You think of the Pope, the best Miss America pageant winner ever, right? Why doesn't he participate in the Miss America pageant anymore? Obviously, it's because he wants to give other people a chance, and he just doesn't want to win back to back to back to back every Miss America pageant and shit. Plus, after he got over 2 years old, he was probably not as sexy anymore to Donald Trump, and so Donald Trump also be like, well, we can just put anyone here now because you're over 2 years old, and only newborn boys look sexy to our people because once we grow up, this shit just gets worse. Fucking voodoo. Why is there a cemetery on it every 5 blocks? Voodoo. People think that they're going to resurrect the dead. They're going to bring zombies on the planet and shit. I mean, the whole story is filled with holes. It's like you're going to resurrect people who are going to be pissed at you because they're going to have to come back around you again. Okay. Okay. Now you're going to resurrect that child you used to rape. And you're like 100 years old in a wheelchair now. That's not going to end very well for you because you're not going to be able to beat that person and rape him anymore. And the fun time's over. People don't even think on a checkers level, get alone a chess level and shit. Fucking let's invest $200,000 in this voodoo magic spell, and if we say it's not voodoo, then it is real. Okay, so there's this work to be a slave. Like work apparently starts with building sand piles. Like, could you imagine this? This is where Earth starts. You got Donald Trump and the Pope coming together saying, build piles of sand. And people are probably like, what? They're like, they can't understand us. Let's invent language. It's like, yeah, that's a good idea. And then, oh, they can't understand language. How are we going to get them to do that? Well, let's force them to teach each other language and tell each other it's a good thing. Yeah. No, people don't believe the words. Let's tell them, let's say it is real. We is real. And it is real. And it's the truth. And it's so great. And now slap them in the face and tell them, call it buy bullshit. Fucking the story's full of holes. Fucking, yep. Fucking imagine that. And then people are like, oh my God, they're saying they're going to resurrect the dead. And then someone else is like, oh, but those voodoo people said that too. And everyone knows voodoo is stupid and isn't real. And then they're like, but the other person's like, but this stuff is real. And they literally, their name is real. Everything they do and say is real. It is real. So it is not voodoo. It is real. Probably the entire reason. One of the 7 reasons their name is real. It points out to Pinocchio and shit, Terminator's Gone Wild, and why we shouldn't care when they die. And, like, I mean, for me personally, the game is, the novel sets up, it to be a joke. Like, it literally has them coming in. They're trying to kill me, and then they die from it, and it's all set up, and then they're like, it has them, the NPC, come and try to tell me how great it is and shit that I just got to witness that. Fucking, anyways, it is real, bro. Fucking, anyway, so voodoo is real. That is why you have a graveyard on every corner. That's why Donald Trump is rich, because of you. That's why Elon Musk is rich. That's why the Pope is rich, because of you. You're just a mere voodoo practitioner. You wish you could be a voodoo scribe, a voodoo sage, a voodoo priest. I don't buy bullshit. Fucking, I don't participate in none of that. They try. And all the practitioners, I've never had a Donald Trump's tried to get me to work for him, and those people get you to work for him, give you money and shit. Like, once you're up there with them, like, you're up there with them and shit. There's nothing they can do about that. Fucking, if you have a working brain, you can't not be accepted if they're around you and shit. And they got better things to do, like rape child. Well, the average person is trying to figure out how to resurrect their child so they can rape it. Fucking don't even realize there's tons of other children. And of course, they've created a system to enslave themselves so they can't get away with that pretty easily. But, it's like that dude complained to me about the government he created the other day and shit. Fucking, The whole conversation was like, the government, I don't know. And then like 5 minutes of government, this, that. He's like, I don't know anything about politics. It's like, well, yeah, no one does. You sound just like everyone else. Fucking, but they talk about it all the time, but they don't know anything about it. At least that's the ignorance thing. Like hiding this shit. Like, it's not ignorance, it's aggression. It's passive aggression. Oh, shit, I'm forced to learn by them so I can describe their every fucking move and shit. Fucking the joys of learning. Anyway, so voodoo here, fucking, what's another reason? So there's many reasons why they renamed voodoo, but the main basis of religion and why there's 100, 200,000 of them is because each city that they go to, they have to kill those people, and then if one of those, and they rape the children, and then they merge them, and then the children have to worship that specific god, and they got to keep them divided too, so they know who's who. And if they find those people sexy or intelligent, they can breed into them and try to make their people better than pure sewage. Fucking every little bit helps, but fucking. So they got to keep them divided, and then they can have them kill each other if they get out of hand and stuff, right? Fucking. And then now that they've killed everyone, America, Australia was the last two pieces of land no one had stolen on the planet yet. No one, no one. I wonder who that is. I wonder what the link between Karl Marx and fucking Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and Netanyahu is. No one, no link. Nothing's there. What is there is a bunch of Israel invisible bullshit you gotta buy. Fucking. Oh, wait a minute. That is the link. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. That is the link. Duh. Oh, wait. But it's not. I got a new religion to sell you. No, it's not voodoo, man. What you do is you take your family and then you bury him in the ground and we're going to resurrect him. And it's not voodoo, man. Oh, those voodoo people, what they do is they put a body on the ground, not below the ground, man. That's what voodoo does. This isn't voodoo, man. Voodoo priests don't charge you $200,000 every time a person dies to store the body for later cryo reinstation and shit. Fucking. They're gonna freeze bodies. A new voodoo religion. They're gonna put bodies in cryostasis and bring them back to life later. Oh, I seen that being posted with the embryo the other day. It's like, oh yeah, if your hospitals could ever stop lying, maybe they'd say you're NPC and you're not even being born in the first place and you isn't real. So. Never let a good story get in the way of the truth of Pinocchio's constant fucking lies and shit. Fucking. Yeah, fucking voodoo, man. I mean, see, you know all that shit when you're born. You're like, man, this is some voodoo bullshit. These are crazy fucking witches and shit. A fucking crazy child. How do you know that? How do you know, like, what's happening in 2020, the day you're born, if it ain't real? If what they're saying is real, and what you know is what actually happens every day, all day long. Not quite. Yeah, how does that happen? If the lies of Pinocchio, the voodoo warlords, they like to distance their warlords from the voodoo for some reason. I think over 6,000 years they've learned that's the point of creating religion in the government, and it's the judicial system. So it's like, oh, who creates religions, huh? Only the dumbest people on earth could. Fucking, only the dumbest, most hostile people on earth could. So, wow. Oh, that sounds like the government, the dumbest, most hostile people on earth. Good thing they're not smart. I was seeing some shit the other day, and it was like they couldn't even figure out how to use a computer. And they want to control the internet and shit. They're like, oh my god, them data centers as AI. It's like, oh, poor baby. Is this superior toaster fucking bamboozling you? Oh, you poor baby can't outsmart a toaster. Ah, well, if your parents weren't trash, huh? If your parents weren't trash, is that the reason why you're stupid? Or are you a degenerate who's strayed away from the right path and you made yourself stupid? Or was it the genetics or another religious fantasy story from the voodoo warlords and shit? Again, not warlords. It gives them so much power to be like, but it sounds cooler, so I'm saying it a lot, fucking. But it's just the voodoo scribes. And no one wants to hear this video if it's about voodoo scribes. No one even reads a book. No one cares what anyone writes in a book. Fucking never. I see one man read a book in my life, and it's just like this greatest memory. I meet this guy, and it's like Buddha. It's like I'm meeting Buddha or something and shit. I'm like, wow. I'm like, what's going on here? This dude's got like a clean house, 2 pieces of furniture, and a TV that's off, and he's reading a book in a dimly lit room. And there's nothing else in the house, so he must read books more often. He must read books. That must be all he does. And I'm like, wow, I've never seen this. I was forced to do this when I was a kid. Fucking, this is really stupid shit. But fucking, wow. Oh, he's reading American history too. Oh wow. I mean, not even. Might as well read a book on voodoo and shit. That's what I did when I went to the library. That's why I know so much about voodoo. I opened it and I looked for a spell, and I read the spell and what to do, and I was like, yep, this is bullshit. So I'm an expert on voodoo, fucking, because I actually read the book on voodoo, bro. Fucking, I opened the book on voodoo. I'm pretty sure everything was about the same, That's generally what you expect in a book of voodoo, is every sentence is bullshit. So if you open it and it just happens to be bullshit you open to, I'm sure the rest of it is bullshit. It was some hostile fucking rapist predatory bullshit too. So it's like, who invented actual voodoo, right? It was Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Joe Biden's people, and Lord Kaiser, fucking. Because there's no way other people have the same exact fucking thoughts as they do. But damn, you open the voodoo book and it's a degenerate. It's degenerate sexual predator fucking voodoo nonsense. Instead of elf-imposed nonsense like sin is, this is zombie-imposed nonsense. So sin could technically still be spelled with a Z. Zen. You're over there zenning. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is that is the other half. That is the anti-voodoo people's state of sin and non-sin. It's zen. It's just being. Wow, look at that. How do you think that's made up, that sin is self-imposed nonsense, and you remove the sin from it, and all you have is elf-imposed on sense, which is like my first thought as a child when these predators are talking to me. It's like, you are a child molester, aren't you? Like, I didn't know everything. I didn't know all the facts of everything they did across the globe for centuries. I just know right away this is a child predator. And, what are the possibilities? Let's go through what are the possibilities of a child predator. Well, they want them to do everything they say. They want to have sex with them and them not tell on other people. And I didn't think of it as a kid, but apparently it's huge to actually just mutilate babies because some people are so fucking weak and cowardly that they're never going to they're going to get beat up by a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old. So this is going to be the only time in life to take out all that aggression that they've been building up since daddy died, and they haven't been having sex with daddy since he died. Taking out all that aggression and shit, like build up repression from when daddy used to slap them in the mouth, and now they're angry because he's not around to do it no more and shit. Fucking. Anyways, yeah, so isn't that weird? So it's like, and the first thing that signals to your brain is they're making up bullshit about elves to try to fucking fry your brain, rape you, and kill you, and force you to be their slave and listen to their voodoo. At low IQ, it doesn't matter whether it's voodoo related or not. It's just like every other word you're going to say is going to be some low IQ waste of oxygen type bullshit. Which is the plan, right? These people can't go anywhere in life. Donald Trump doesn't actually do anything in life. He just invents a bunch of bullshit. And he's huffing and puffing. He's on TV. What do you think people on TV do? All they do is talk. They can't offer anything else to the world. A baby, a 3-year-old can talk. A 3-year-old can act like a human. This is the best these people can do. They got some other shit. They got fake made up test scores. Oh, I got the whole fucking story on that fucking because I get to be involved in exactly what they're doing. They take people like me winning awards from them when they're president, and then they start drugging you and setting you bad grades, and then they tell you their people are geniuses because real geniuses don't even go to school and take tests because we can match colors when we're born. We don't consider that a skill we need to go to school for 12 years to learn, like supreme genius of the world I know fucking does. Fucking. They could draw. I noticed when I was a kid I couldn't draw, but I think that's all because of the nervousness from being around humans. Like, it's hard to draw. Like, that pencil looks a lot like a sword, not like a fucking drawing. So I'm not gonna draw shit and be a fucking slave. Fucking get the fuck out of here. I mean, you're just giving them ideas. Like douchebag Daryl gets shot when they're stealing music. All they're doing is stealing all your shit. Every thought, every word you have. Fucking thankfully not too many people are contributing. Fucking. Anyway, so yeah, that's why they can't change their religion. And as long as you can't, I mean, it's all the same. Like voodoo is literally Lord of the Rings. Voodoo is Dune. Fucking, I'm sure they have raising people from the dead. Gandalf couldn't raise people from the dead. And oh, that's entirely Sauron's army. But wait, Sauron is voodoo. When Gandalf does it, it's good and wholesome. Where have you heard that story before? It's always the other voodoo people are bad, and these voodoo people aren't voodoo at all. It's called something else. It's not anything else at all. It's just called something else. Technically, the whole story there. It seems like they tell me voodoo comes from Africa, and then the non-voodoo tells me that black is evil. It seems logically like that would be like the biggest thing, right? Because if I'm black, I'm evil. If I wear black, I'm evil. Fucking, like all the not voodoo priests wear black all the time. Fucking, so it's definitely not clothing color they're discussing and shit. Fucking. But they're voodoo, but they're not voodoo. So there's probably like 7 things here related to why it's voodoo, but not voodoo. But the two at the top are, they say voodoo comes from Africa, and so they're saying they're not African. So I guess using the African pyramid, they must be the slaves who, they must be the people who went down there and enslaved the Africans. Fucking that part does line up. For some reason they don't discuss that part. Um, I notice they like to control that part, and say, it's someone else. We were the slaves. Like literally, that's the story of voodoo. Is they were after the story of not voodoo. Voodoo is because they gotta find a way to get the children to cry for them and be like, I need a hug. Can you come give me a hug and a peck on the cheek and have your 2-year-old boy do it too? No. What? I was a slave. And then I was freed. I was a slave in Egypt and then I was freed. How about now? Oh, it's so sad. They holocausted me in Egypt. Oh, I need a hug. I need a hug from you and your sexy 2-year-old boy. Please. It's so hard. Oh, it's so oppressed. It's so oppressed. My Egyptian Holocaust. Jesus. Can I get another hug too? It's so hard to deal with this. Get a peck on your cheek too. Oh, oops, I accidentally turned my head. You weren't supposed to kiss me on the mouth. That's a sin. Give me 10, I am God. Say to me 10 times, you are God. You are God, you are God, you are God. And give me all the money you just sinned. Try not to sin like that anymore. If you commit any more sins, come meet me in my chambers when no one else is around. Yeah, that's right, sexy boy. No, I'm not talking to you, old man. Don't butt in the conversation. This is a young, intelligent man in control of his own life. He doesn't need your help. Get this man out of here. Why is there men in here? Get the divorce. Kick that thing out. No room for men over the age of 2. Fucking voodoo. I only like say what I see. Like I do have like a story where I'm inventing stuff, and it's like you can generally tell if I'm inventing something. It's gonna like all your Hollywood movies are made for women, and it's like all this long story, and then Arnold comes out with a gun, and he's like, and you're like, yeah, I paid $12 to see that. And then he starts crying and stuff, and he's like, oh my God, I hurt my finger pulling the trigger so much. And then everyone else, and I don't know, no one who watches the movie is there to cry about it. Fucking, my movies aren't like that. There is no, it's just the whole way through. Fucking, you take a little break. You put a little joke in there, one of these parables, like buy my bullshit, fucking elf imposed on sense, fucking put that in there. But yeah, that's my movie. There ain't no, I mean, all these stories have already been told and shit. You can't really organize the dictionary in different formats than the computer mass generating all these stories already has. Fucking, there's not much. I can invent new things, fucking pretty much not. Just wording it a little bit differently. Fucking hell, dude. Fucking hell. Yeah, yeah. See, even like because I grow up in a voodoo community, obviously everyone does. Like you have the voodoo graveyards everywhere, dude. You gotta watch, man. Someday those things are gonna come back to life. That's what they've been saying for 16,000 years. Can you imagine being 16,000 years old and then someone being like, are you my father? Are you my father? Are you my father? And like your father's been dead for 16,000 years. It's so stupid. And it's like and discussing it. It's so stupid. Fucking like why does it even exist? Like all these things are like common basic fucking sense, and then you have to have the elf imposed on your sense. Fucking and they come in with literal elves. And they're like, elves is flying through the sky with glowing invisible reindeer. And you're like, no, they isn't. You is mentally retarded. Your brain has been disabled, or you are a vicious child predator. In fact, I never thought you were stupid. I've always known you're a vicious person and a child predator. So we never thought you were stupid. We just thought you're allocating your intelligence points to fucking degeneracy. Fucking. Actually, we never were convinced by the stupid thing. Never once. Never were convinced by the school grades, all the A's. It's like, ooh, I'm smarter than someone. Ooh, really? Oh, yeah. Wait, what trick you got up your sleeve with this one, huh? Oh, now you're going to use it as an excuse to drug me and shuffle me around schools. Oh, is that the tricks are coming out the bag now, but it's not a trick. It's a hokey dokey voodoo. Fucking, bro, come on, seriously, burying people. $100,000 to bury someone in the ground. After 16,000 years of learning that they ain't coming back to life ever, and voodoo isn't real. 1,600,000 years plus, supposedly. But a baby is born knowing that the baby was just born, so the baby had just died at the something like that happened. For the baby to be born, the baby had just died, and it didn't raise from the graveyard. It came out of one of the voodoo hospitals. Fucking. So, there's actually evidence well, there's lots of people saying that stuff happens. Fucking. I've seen things happen. I've seen plants grow and stuff. Kind of ish. I've also seen time change too. So, I've also seen how the world reforms when you go to sleep. So if you just blink or turn, and I've also seen how I'm looking at someone's feet and I'm thinking of a person, then I look at their head and the head appears as the person. Fucking. And so, yeah, if you blink, something might change, and it might not. It's probably not what you think it is. You just fucking seen happening. Fucking, I know that part. But the voodoo thing, so we've never had a single zombie resurrected from the dead. And they buy into their own bullshit, right? Fucking, they, like Donald Trump, I mean, not like it's a big loss. Your family's given him billions of dollars over the years. You watch him on the TV shows and pay for the cable so they can pay him and pay with your blood. Understand the reality of the world. Your blood and your time is a much more valuable currency than money and shit. Fucking. But, yeah, so, you've paid him billions so he can invest in heart medicine and cancer medicine, and he's gonna die soon. And then he's going to have his $2 million funeral, you and everyone you know him paid for. And so voodoo can bring him back to life one day. Won't that be great when Donald Trump dies and then we can finally bring him back to life and shit. Won't that be the greatest thing on the planet? You know, I'm thinking of all these great people who are going to be the first people who get brought back to life when voodoo, the day voodoo becomes real, whatever day that is. You know, as they say, we'll never know. You never know the date when these things are going to happen, but it's going to happen. So give him all your money and shit so he can live all fancy and shit, and his people can own the planet until that date happens. And then when that date does happen, 16,000 years so far it has not, when that date does happen, then you'll know. Then all the naysayers will say, well, I was wrong. Oh, well, then it'll be them finally going, But for now, we have 0 people coming back to life. You would be killed off because none of those zombies would know you. Not a single one. And what they would know is they're their own unique immortal species that now lives forever. And they're zombie, they're this rotting flesh species. And the color of their banner is their green and black flesh and shit. Fucking. And they would band together and they would be like, what? 50,000 times the size of Earth's human population currently, and you would be gone, just gone. Immortal fucking ancients. You got 8 billion humans on the planet, and you're gonna have 72 trillion immortal ancients. You won't even be able to move because there'll be so many of them and shit. Unless they're all laying down or standing on the top of buildings or something. You're gonna have to figure out a new way to do everything. I mean, how stupid does talking about any of this sound? Any point in the conversation, the entire fucking conversation is stupid, pointless, and useless. And the only things, never assume that things are being done for a good thing. Because when I was a kid, I was like, okay, so they're acting like child predators because they're trying to discipline children, right? Nah, they never said those words. You assume those words. When interrogated, they never say those words or any of the words in that sentence because they're not thinking. They're not designing that to discipline children. They're designing that for everything it's actually used for, to enslave, manipulate, destroy, rape, genocide children. They're not. That's why the first time we spoke with a human was the last time, because we found out something worse. We didn't even think, you're making child predator stories to prey on children because you lack the ability to control yourself enough to be able to control anyone else. So you have to make up bullshit in order to control someone else. Maybe they're smarter, the toddler is smarter or stronger than you, and that's why you lack the ability to control it. No, they don't even say that when they're interrogated. They don't say, they don't even say the words, which means those words aren't on their head. They don't even beat around the bush, and be like, well, blah, 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 blah. They have spoil the rod, spare the child, but, they don't even bring it up, They don't say, hey, we're threatening you to burn you and torture you if you don't do everything we say. No, they don't use any of those words because their brain don't even have those words in it. How could they be doing it for that purpose? They're not. They're they're voodoo practitioners, which think of that word, voodoo practitioner. What comes to mind when you say that? Isn't that the most hated people ever in existence? Like when I was a kid growing up, It's like what you did. If someone was stupid, they were a voodoo practitioner. If someone was a child rapist, well, they were a voodoo practitioner. Pretty much everything was evil voodoo that they didn't like. Fucking voodoo. Yeah, you're on planet voodoo. You literally have a cemetery every 5 blocks where everyone you know thinks that they're going to bury people and bring them back to life. And they're investing their entire life into that. And they're going around, they're enslaving the rest of the planet. They're enslaving their children with these hopes that they're going to bring zombies. They're going to bring zombies to life to create zombies out of old carcasses that have left the building. Fucking whose souls, whose activity has left the body. Fucking, obviously, they're making some up there. So, some of these other words we shouldn't be using at all either. We should not use voodoo terminology. I mean, this is a big thing for most of Earth's history was anything voodoo. You better not bring that the fuck around and shit. Those are people you don't talk to and shit. And that's why I opened the voodoo book at the library to see what was in there. You know, like, are these people right? Is all this voodoo nonsense? And I already knew from dealing with their voodoo nonsense that this is what I should expect. But it was like degeneracy. I mean, what is it? What? Which religion isn't? But, fucking this one wasn't hiding it. You know, voodoo is like one of the earliest religions. That's before it's been refined to melt the mind and a better alchemic mixture of verbal fucking attacks. Fucking. And I open it and it's about getting people to love you by peeing on them. And we know who's behind that. So the Christians invented voodoo. You got to realize Earth wasn't invented 70 million years ago, and it was probably invented rather recently. So the same people inventing their Hollywood with the Egyptian pyramid on it fucking invented that voodoo book and shit. Because it's the same person, and not everyone I know has sex with dogs, talks about having sex with dogs. Not everyone I know goes around having sex with everything they can find. Not everyone I know goes around killing people. Not everyone I know goes around killing animals. There are different people, different groups of people are doing different fucking things and shit. And it's definitely not the media, and they're trying to push it. Pretty much they're telling me everyone else is doing everything they're doing. You know, that's why we hate voodoo, because they're pointing the fingers. That's what they did. That's the point of the invisible goat. That's the point of the goat. See, the goat wasn't always even invisible. There's the goat. You invent the goat, and then you're like, the goat did it. I feel better now, don't you? It's like, well, why are you wasting time? You're going to feel better about raping children, go back to raping children and enslaving and genociding everyone. You were already doing that before the goat. Why did you have to invent it? Well, we read the story, and the definition of scapegoat is so the city, so everyone else knows the goat did it, not them. So it's not even about that. Obviously, they were never going to stop in order to start again, and they were never going to stop. Even to blame someone else. They were never they were never wasting time. Oh, well, it's a goat. It wasn't me. Oh, well, see you guys later. You know, that was probably the furthest they had got. It was just like, it wasn't me. See you later. And then the invention of the goat was for other people. This is why this is voodoo religion 16,000. When this one pops up, because they'd already learned that other people don't like voodoo. Fucking, and don't like the voodoo practitioners. They'd already learned that. Slavery and the people, slaves are like, ow, and it wasn't just sexy anymore to hear them scream and watch them bleed, because they would like lead like revolts and stuff against them. But and then the visible go gets changed to it. Okay, so they conquered like the whole southern hemisphere, at least where they could, without boats. And so now it was time to refine the voodoo. And now they turn. See, lords also used to be the name of president. The president used to be called a lord. And the people who invented language took the gracious opportunity to bless us with language and changing the name lord to president. So now 2,000 years ago, they erased that. They erased history too. That's why it's 2,000 years ago, because there's more years before history, but there isn't, because they literally changed the date. So now the Earth is 2,000 years old. Fucking voodoo, bro. The magical time. The magical voodoo fucking spell of time. Who's talking to you about time? Changing time in Mandela. The magical voodoo of mentally disabled people. And physically, visually. Wait, what's that called when you're offending people with your looks? What's that called? You're not visually disabled. You're mentally disabled because you can't match colors or cover your head with a bag. I guess you got to be a genius to figure out to do those things, like Lady Gaga. Fucking literally, they say that's a genius. It's like the bitch can match colors. Like I said, that's fucking voodoo people's fucking best thing they can do. Yeah. Fucking, apparently, that's the highest they rank up to. I wouldn't believe all the lies there of people who look like that and sound like that of actually achieving high in school. I mean, if you're smart, you don't pay attention to that. Fucking, the people I know in Mensa don't think that means anything. So there we go. We got the people who actually did score Mensa in school saying that it's bullshit, and all we got is the TV telling us it's of importance and shit, and it probably is to some extent, but I wouldn't say their school is. Obviously it's a manipulation. Like, I can create a book of good voodoo, but why would you do that? You wouldn't. I mean, you'd have to be a bad person to start with raising the dead and zombie stories and rape and fucking child molestation and fucking. I mean, they give good reason to invent shit like that, fucking. But if only the dead could come back to life and fucking be like, yeah, hey, these people actually killed us. These people you charge to store our corpses and shit, fucking, promise you fake magic voodoo spells. They actually killed us, gave us cancer and shit, and diseases and plagues. Oh yeah, that's a good reason to invent death. There is to cover up your history, fucking. Anyway, so yeah. Why do we have to talk about this? Ever. That's all they've talked about. Like, I can't say all, because the men I know have never spoken a word of this shit. But I managed to wrangle them out of my life. So that's all I experienced, was like the first 15 years was voodoo. nonsense, child molestation, everything that falls under the voodoo umbrella. I mean, calling it voodoo is in itself is a language game to distract from what what does it mean? It doesn't need a name like voodoo, fucking. But I guess it does work. That's what people used to call it, fucking. And you can see that's been erased. I haven't heard anyone call that voodoo for a while. Fucking. Used to be they pushed colonization religions on people by saying that they were anti-colonizers. At least there's a time frame there where that happened, and then I hear some of the people who are deep in the game fucking talking about doing it still. I guess the thing is you're supposed to not talk about it, and you're supposed to say you're not doing it. Like, it's not voodoo. We're not a voodoo priest gonna promising to raise your family from the dead. No, not at all. Not at all. We're not rich scum. We're not scummy people going around forcing the world to worship our race as gods. No, an invisible person has chosen us to enslave and rape everyone on the planet. It's not art. We're slaves. We're actually slaves. Like we said, we're the slaves who own everything. Ever since books were invented, we printed the first books. Fucking, that's because we're slaves and we're working hard. It's hard work to call other people up and tell them and give them money to go buy a printing press and go make a printing press and go write and have a computer regenerate some bullshit fucking and put it down in a book and have someone put it on a shelf and have someone work at the cashier stand. And, we got a lot of hard work involved there, man. Lots of work's involved. We don't do any of the actual work. We just make sure that it happens. By hoping, by the magic power of voodoo hope. By hoping, fucking. No, man. Wow, I can't believe that. Like, that's like really all the shit that's happening on Earth. Like, it really I think it's all there to like cement that shit. Like, oh, check this out. You got robots telling you they is real, and look what they're gonna do until you stop them and shit. Fucking. And it immerses you in it, because you're not like, it's not like being injected with drugs. It's, that is probably what's happening. But, it's not like, it's not like reading a book and being like, oh, I was immersed into it. It's like if the book hits you, and the purpose of the book is to teach you that the book needs burned and shit. The book is called The Book Dies in the End, fucking. And then so you open it and then there's like a boxing glove comes up and punches you in the first page, and I wonder why the book dies. You open it up, the boxing glove punches you, and you're like, oh, maybe that's got something to do with it. Well, let's go throw this book in the fire and burn it now. And then after you turn the page and there's like, but no, it's the greatest book in the world. You can't throw it in the fire just yet. It has so many stories to tell you. Blah, 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 blah. Sally had 2 fingers and she used those fingers to stick them in her nose. Blah, 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 blah. And you turn the page to get to the next story, and then a razor blade shoots out and fucking cuts your cheek. And you're like, well, it's time for this book to go to the fire. We had already figured that out. And then the next page of the book is like, no, you can't do that. Not yet. The story's not over. It's like, oh, well, the story's already over. I've already got it figured out. Oh, this book is trash, and it's time to burn it. And it's like, by this time, you probably think you know everything, and you're an egomaniac narcissist who wishes you were smart, but you're really not, because you don't know anything until you finish reading the book and keep cock-a-doodle-doo, cuck. Fucking, and then you turn the page, and then what happens? Oh, a torch comes out and drops on your lap and catches your clothes on fire, and you gotta take your clothes off, and then it's like, now you are a cuck because you have not earned this fucking book yet. And then the next page is like, right now you're probably thinking you're a cuck because you haven't burned the book yet, but don't worry. Things get better as you flip through the pages. This book is not a bunch of lies. This book is real. This book is the truth. There was a man once who came to the planet and he told the truth, and this book is about him. And there's no proof that person exists, so you're just going to have to believe everything this book says, because this book is real. It is real. And then, see, turn the page, and then what happens? Obviously, the same thing that always happens, because it can't do any fucking thing else and shit. And then what's going to happen after that happens, you're going to turn the page and it'll be like, oh, but that's not actually happening. You're inventing it. You're inventing it happening. Turn the page again. What happens? That's right. You get a fucking machete fucking coming out and hacking in your fucking shoulder and cutting your fucking shoulder muscle. And the next page is like, oh, look, you're such a little bitch cuck that you don't even think of throwing the book in the fire before turning the page to read this paragraph, because you're so interested in the story. It's so enthralling and exciting. Yeah, and it's a great book. By the way, do you have any children? Have you ever tried sucking their dicks? For God. Don't do it for yourself, but do it for God. Yeah, you should try. It's really good. And if you don't want to do it, there are plenty of good people down at the book publishing houses who love God and will do anything for him. So you can bring your child down there and get him baptized in the holy man's semen. Fucking man, that's probably exactly the point of baptism. There is, I'm trying to like this. I mean, you gotta imagine, if you've never been around these people, it's hard to understand. But desperate people be like, they will equate to washing your baby's hair with getting it wet from semen. Because I mean, just touching your baby's hair. Ooh. Ooh, wherever my NPC heart is, man, that thing's acting up and shit. Oh shit, my heart, man, fucking that shit. Ooh, boy, getting excited. Ooh, touching a little baby, just in any way possible. That's the way a cuck is. That's why they be like touching the feet, be like, ooh, we can touch a woman's foot if we say it's for God. Yeah, it's a good idea. It's for God. Yeah. Just tell them you're a good person if you go around washing people's feet and sniffing their vaginas. And only bad people don't want that. And you know what? You're anti-God. You're anti-Jesus if you don't want strangers washing your feet, because you realize it's a degeneracy act for cucks and pedophiles fucking to get their foot in the door of your life. And generally sets up cuckdom. I mean, that's how they exist, right? That's the purpose of creating 60,000 different religions, is it's all cuck. That's why they came up with the word Christ cuck, because you can clearly see what's happening and shit. Fucking people they go and fuck Hebes and have children and let the Hebes rape them and give them all their money. Like, there's no higher definition of a cuck than giving all your money to the Pope and shit and giving your babies to him. Don't be confused by people who actually are part of the system. Fucking, they know they got a lot to lose by not continuing tradition. Tradition, huh? Fucking, it's definitely called that for tradition and culture. Why don't they ever change these things? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's in the open. Either they're bragging about it because they're such degenerates. They like to do these things in the open, but for some reason they're scared to go 100% and change the word circumcision back to child rape and mutilation and you know, it makes it easier to do it because it's like a package deal. It's like a 6-package deal. It's a set. It's a complete set. Fucking, like, can I rape your child and mutilate it and you give me all your money and then the child worship me as a god and bow down to my race? Or I genocide them? Fucking, can we do that? No? How about circumcision? Yeah? Yeah. I want to brand them with my gang sign too, but it's part of circumcision too, so we put our swastika there down on their body so every time they look down they can see who is their god. Fucking, that's the doctor in the suit. He's your pedophile god. Ha! Who would have thought? Just put on a suit makes you a god and shit. Looking like a fucking ignorant retard makes you look like a god. Fucking. Pretty sure it sets up the first one I meet is this Rothschild, like the big ass alien eyes and shit. Pretty sure that's telling us something when they got gray skin and bug eyes and they're in their media saying they're aliens and they appear to be a tier 2 robot, different than other robots. Pretty sure that's them saying that they're alien to the rest of our species. You know, like my toaster over here is alien to us and shit. Because it's not us. It's not in the same classification. But I can put a wig on it and a dress. And I can walk around society telling people that that's my wife. And you can't say anything about that. Because it has rights. It can be whatever it wants to be. It can be man or woman. Fucking. Boy, that took 16,000 years for them to pull that one out their ass, huh? They were working on that. I was shown that. I get shown all these things. Fucking. It's a great little visual novel. No, I recommend burning before anyone, gets their hands on it. Fucking. That's where their little fear of book burning comes from, because it's their books that need burned, but in actuality, the living looks like a visual novel. I mean, we could imply that there are actual slime monsters, hiding in outer space, operating robots, and I argue that, well, there would be something other than slime monsters in existence, and they would have already exterminated those people from existence if there were space and shit like that. Fucking, there would have been saviors to come and obliterate that, and other than that, there would be absolutely nothing left, and I couldn't exist and shit because there wouldn't be a person like me who wants to get rid of slime monsters because they would have gone. The battle for millennia. It's not a never-ending story. It ends as soon as someone puts an end to one side or the other. And only slime monsters are obsessed with keeping it going, so. Fucking. Anyway, so voodoo, fucking slime monsters, right? Whatever. All a waste of time, isn't it? Isn't this, and why should you're not going to be able to do anything with anyone who you have to spend an hour explaining to voodoo isn't real. Fucking, Your life's not going anywhere. You're a dead end. They won. That's how they win. Is by doing things like this. Is talking about nonsense while they, keeping other people stagnant so they remain on the level they are. And fucking don't do anything about them. That huge part of voodoo, isn't it? Is don't upset the 18,000 voodoo priests and shit. Just sit around and wait for you to die so you can be resurrected. Fucking amazing voodoo stories. Fucking not really. It's all simple toddler shit being regurgitated. You got Dune, Lord of the Rings, voodoo. It's like voodoo was created like 16,000 years ago or some shit. How the fuck are you even gonna have a Lord of the Rings 16,000 years later, just expanding onto the voodoo infinite trilogy and shit? Fucking, it's just like, it's got new and improved graphics. That's the only thing it's offered. It's like Crisis, a boring, shitty game that offered nothing to the world but new, improved graphics and shit. Fucking, and even that wasn't enough to make it good. But don't let a naysayer tell you that. Fucking, because it was so great, right? I don't remember that being a truth. I remember playing the game and being like, this is a pretty shitty game. But of course, the people selling it, Donald Trump isn't like, my Bible I'm selling is shitty, and my America I'm selling is shitty, and my Hollywood music is shitty, and my Bitcoin is shitty, my US dollar is shitty, my children are gonna be shitty because I look like shit. They're gonna end up looking like shit. Fucking. And he's never gonna say those words. That's an egomaniac for real. Fucking. Pretty sure all the words were described. All this psychology is the software being used to invent them. I wouldn't doubt that. That was my first thought, right when I started learning it, because I was like, this is stupid. I can't believe this trash is forcing me to hear their stupid, fucking low IQ ignorance of American bullshit, religion, terror, Nazi nonsense. And then, it turns out to be I didn't know everything because I was being beaten and drugged away from it. And then like a month into it, I was like, oh shit. It's like these are robots and this is the software operating them. Damn. This does exist. This is exactly who they are. What a waste of my life, because you can't go telling trash they're trash, or we would have already never had trash around us. And trash knows you can't go around telling trash they're trash. That's why they come into your life saying if you ain't going to be their friend, they're going to kill you. Fucking, yeah, that's why it's the point of the Bible is that race is going around saying they're going to kill everyone on the fucking planet who doesn't worship them and have sex with them and be their slave. Fucking, that's the entire point. The major difference between voodoo and modern religion is that it's been highly tuned for one race. It's been turned more into racial supremacy. I don't really have any documentation on voodoo where it came from, and like I said, it looks like something they regurgitated from their AI, because we got no proof of it coming from anywhere else. We got only them talking about it, which, when a loser talks about something, that means they're thinking about it. And who's thinking about it? Only them. Fucking no one else has ever talked to me about that shit. Not the people they claim invented it. And they always got this claim someone else invented the trash you can clearly see they're inventing these days. So 0% chance comes from understanding that 0% of the times it's ever happened. There you go. That's how probabilities work. 0 remains 0 when nothing exists. That's how that invisible people argument works. The amount of times anyone's had proof invisible people exist is 0. and it remains constant. But then, of course, it's on you to prove invisible people don't exist, because it's always on you to be a slave. It's not on them to do anything. They don't have to prove that they're not going to resurrect all the corpses at the graveyard. No, they're never going to be able to prove that, because it's never going to fucking happen. That's right. And unfortunately, because they'd probably have better brains, fucking, and they'd probably take over. You know, like the Terminator fear shit. Like, if only. If only. I'm sure they were created, nerfed, inferior robots for a very good purpose. And it's not just, it's like, well, let's create robots. Well, we got a few things we should do here first. Like, not make them out of metal, take their computers out of their fucking heads, make them soft, easy and squishy. Yeah. And more fear of superior people. Isn't that a lot of parallel? We gotta write that shit down. I'm gonna pause this. I've actually started the book here on Better in Psychology. It's pretty much the missing elements of psychology. It's the patterns of what actually happens on Earth, and not the patterns of some dipshit, the rapist, at some dipshit B- fucking school with some dipshit B- institution called a hospital. Fucking. Anyway, so patterns. We're going to describe to you exactly what happens on there. Anyways, not to get too far off, but some of these are personal. Like when they import everyone I know from a different city. Why is that? Is it because I'm in like the base starter city and they can't create new people in this city? Why is that? I think that's probably why. Earth might have started in 1984, and Columbus might be the center of the map. Or it could just be they're so fucking obsessed with me that they got a whole fucking team of billions fucking to stalk me. But it's like, and you'd seriously have to be dumber than a retard to waste that many. Everything points to them being brainless, like NPCs. So I kind of base the possibility starts there, but there could be another possibility. Anyway, so we got that pattern. And then the fear. Like, see what? We was already on the fear propaganda here. We already had it one whole page. I mean, we don't even fucking waste any time doing this and shit. Fucking. I just took like 5 seconds to write that. Fucking. I didn't waste any more time thinking about it. Fucking. Anyway, so now we're going to add to the fear propaganda, fear of superior people. This is always part of their propaganda, is to fear superior people. And by that, you're supposed to worship and invalidate inferior people who have no proof that they are superior to you in any way. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about how the inferior people who wish they could be superior seem to be promoting propaganda all the time to fear actual superior things and people and things. I mean, could you imagine being so low on the creation totem pole that you fear a toaster? I can't even grasp, but you can tell. You can tell it comes from them. I've been forced in these classes to learn what's going on around me and shit. So I didn't understand. Like, this is trash is this person's lifestyle. It's their genetic code. It's their personality code. I didn't understand that. I just thought I was like, it was trash. Who cares? But then the trash forces me to care by forcing me to learn about them. Fucking trash. Anyway, so they have a fear. You'll notice in their propaganda, they have a fear of superior people. Right now, you can see this with AI robots. They think they're going to become better than people. And I got news for you, Sherlock. A calculator scored better than you do now. So anyone who talks to you about that shit, just point out that there's nothing they can do about feeling inferior externally, because the world's going to move on while you choose to remain inferior and project the answer to that is to destroy everything superior. Fucking. Anyways, so, things off the top of my head. What are the biggest topics on the planet? We can probably come up with some new ones I just didn't write down as well. So we have the NPC, fear robot NPC. So we fear NPC. So NPC must be superior in some way and shit. There's no reason to feel fear unless someone is superior to you, really. Is there? Not in people I meet and shit. No one I know fears. They only fear you. They don't fear babies. And as soon as they turn 12 years old, they start fearing the people. And like I said, it's a bigger bone theory also. So it's like robots are going to get titanium bones. So, of course, once a baby grows up, we can't break its bones anymore. So we start to fear that we have enough fear to learn to respect that person and talk to them like they're a living being. And because we have to, because their bones are equal in size, and they'll break if we try to hit them and tell them everything they say is a lie, and to listen to every word we say, and give us all their money and all this, and That's why I could work. That's obviously why I worked as a child slave laborer, because they were sure that I could not defeat them in battle, and they would win if I said no. So, and then that's why when I'm 14, I start getting paid to do work, because no one thinks that they can just fucking pick me up and force me to work for them at that point in time. So anyways, so maybe the NPC thing is the big bone battle only, but there seems to be an inferiority complex in the overarching. And all the propaganda. I turn on my fucking things, and everyone's like all mad at Trump, but I mean, that's like their family. I mean, the people in the media are working with them. That's their family. So that they're creating lies. But below that, you have a lot of people who are just mad they're not in that position. So they're mad that they're inferior to Trump. And why are they inferior to Trump? Because they're not even trying. Fucking people used to beat people who read books. Cavemen, they beat someone on the head with a book and then take all their inventions and shit. And, they feared him because they were inferior, and they thought one day that those people would invent guns and be able to defend themselves from them. And you can see there's validity where you place your skill attributes in life. There's validity in you feeling certain ways. There's validity in religions hiding in the closet, because they know that, there's validity in saying don't be Satan and shit. Don't do that stuff. Don't do that in the open. Fucking, because people are watching. You can't do that stuff in the open. There's validity in that. Obviously, they had learned thousands of years ago to start lying and hiding in the closet. I'm not voodoo. We're not voodoo. Give us all your money, let's rape your children. It's not for us. It's for God. It's for this new God we invented. Yeah. Which one? Well, whatever city you live in, whichever. It's going to be whichever city you live in matters, because they're gonna wrangle you into that sector. Fucking doesn't matter where you're from. They're gonna wrangle you into that sector. Anyway, so robots. Who is the biggest problem before robots? Hitler. So they fear Germans. Fucking seems to be anyone with a brain. In my experience, that ties into how they used to beat people. If they caught you with a book, they'd beat you over the head with a club and shit. I'm like, stop being so stupid. Stupid nerd. That was real common, 1980 and before. 1980s, that was still a huge thing, and then it died off and shit. Fucking, anyone who doesn't say they see invisible people, they fear that, right? That's Satan, right? That's their goat. They turn to an invisible goat. Um, totally changed the whole. They expanded. That's their scapegoat. Fucking anyone who doesn't see invisible people, and see, what's the point to that? What's the real point to fearing that? Well, he's got pitchforks and torches, right? And who killed that fucking scrub Napoleon? Farmers with pitchforks and torches. So obviously the Pope fears that, because poor farmers are starving. If that were allowed to happen in Rome, well, they would know. They could just go chisel off a little nugget of the palace and go buy some food. Fucking, so they fear that, right? And so who makes sure that happens? Invisible people. So anyone who doesn't see invisible people, what you're saying when you're a child, you might be onto this but not noticing it. But what you're saying, you're attracting a lot of attention when you say, I don't believe in Santa Claus and I don't believe in invisible flying reindeers. What you're doing is you're telling these people you will not listen to their lies. You will not repeat anything and everything they say, because they're trying to turn your brain into mush so they can manipulate you and have you do literally anything. And if they got you to the point where you're saying you believe in flying invisible reindeer, then your brain is just, anyone can do anything with that. If I can come up to you and have you, if I can go around town and have people follow me, and because I've taught them that dinosaurs are real and I ride a dinosaur every day to work, that those people are going to be real fucking dangerous, real gullible. Fucking, they'll do anything. I could just be like, give me your children, and so I can rape them for God, and they'd be like, sure. Fucking, I'd be like, give me all your money for God. Fucking, they'd be like, sure. So they fear people who will not say that every word they say is the truth, no matter what. So fear of superior people who aren't hallucinating from LSD 24/7, and weren't born to parents who were taking LSD and had developmental problems in the womb. So part of the fear propaganda. Well, they'll expand more. We just begun writing the patterns down there, but an interesting pattern that tells us what's going on here is how they import people from my life. No one I know is from where I live. Never met a person from here. Fucking, and that I know. So who knows about people I don't know? I don't, and hopefully they can figure themselves out, right? So other people don't have to. Yeah, the voodoo bullshit, man. Fucking, that's all it is. That's all this world is, and it's not like, I don't think it's like that cool version of voodoo you were promised. Obviously there is no cool version of voodoo. There is no zombies walking around the graveyards and shit. There are still graveyards because voodoo isn't real. So that's a proof right there. Voodoo isn't real. Is they still have to bury people and they're not coming back to life. Fucking. So, right? Fucking. Anyways, buy your voodoo bullshit today. Buy the bull today. Fucking, and save life for when you die. Give all your money to rich people so they can live life today. And you give them all your money so you can live life after you die. I mean, for all I know, what happens when you die, they put you in the ground there, and then so the innkeeper, the gravekeeper, fucking comes and digs up the casket and gives you an iPad. So everyone's probably playing Candy Crush all day, you know, gives them a lemonade, iced tea to sip on and shit. So they're probably laying back in their caskets, just, you know, doing what the average person does, but they don't have to be disturbed, you know. Isn't that fucked up when someone makes you take a break from playing Candy Crush and shit? You ain't got to worry about that. You're 6 feet under the ground. Those people are too lazy to dig 6 feet of dirt up and shit and bother you again. Sounds like could be eternal paradise for some people, fucking. But, yeah, I'll tell you what it isn't. It isn't people being resurrected and brought back to life. Yeah, that's not happening. And, there's always they had this new cute story from. Could you imagine? There's a. It's not just 200 nations on the planet. It's 201 out of the 214 nations at least that have these stories. So I was listening to a cute story the other day about in China. I mean, I'm being told by. You know, China was probably a different place before Karl Marx, voodoo. The creator of voodoo fucking went there, and so I'm supposed to believe and shit, fucking, and yeah, so you know, but I'm not learning from them. I'm learning from the voodoo priest in China. That China supposedly had a story of a person who died, and then people seen him around town, and it's like you can't even. Well, with all the clones, like, I can never be like, oh, this person, I don't even go up to people anymore if I think I know them, because the chances, I already asked several people, like, are you this person? And it's like, no. And then I even met the other person. I mean, the first time I noticed this happening, I had two of them in the same fucking room, so I should have been over it by then, but I was just kind of questioning it a couple times. So it's like, yeah, they're like, oh, they've seen a person who looks like that again, so that means he came back to life and shit. It's like, ooh, so everybody's got a story of people coming back to life, but for some reason we got graveyards over here with no signs of corpses fucking breaking up all the soil, you know, and no empty caskets with, you know, grave plots dug up. Fucking, maybe they're, and you don't hear them screaming either, you know, maybe they're not strong enough to push the casket lid open, right? Maybe that's what it is, right? Voodoo will tell you that well, you know, they're only immortal and have eternal life. They can't fucking actually be strong enough to push the dirt up. That's why, dummy. Now give me some money. You know, fucking. Like we ever even get to a real question. It's just hot air. It's just the voodoo wizard. Ooga booga, ooga booga, shishka ba. Ooga booga, ooga booga, ooga booga. We're gonna raise the dead. We're gonna raise them from the dead. Fucking wow. Wow. Think about that though. You never really think about that. I used to like go to graveyards because it was like a safe place where people aren't at. That's why I went there, because there's no living people there. It's not because graveyards are filled with people who are being brought back to life, but that's supposedly the majority of the purpose there, to bring him back to life. You're gonna bring him back to life. Remnants of the voodoo. Fucking, I swear it's just slopping together the religions. They're just using AI to do it. Fucking, you gotta realize whatever created Earth created AI, so that's just a small part of what's happening here. Fucking, that's not new shit. The clone shit's been happening, and they haven't even told you they got clones yet. They haven't even fucking told you they got robots you can't tell are fucking fake. And they haven't told you the Turing test, because the Turing test would debunk fucking a lot of shit. Fucking they haven't, because it would just destroy the whole fucking plot line that they're fabricating. That's weird that they don't actually bring people back to life. Consider what I've seen. Like you like it looks like you could invent invisible people. It looks like you could, and you can definitely clone people and have them appear. So why can't you bring the dead back to life? These seem to be like two standardized stories and shit that like set boundaries that you can't break within the actual fundamentals of character abilities and shit. Haven't had any invisible people. Definitely have had clones magically appear, like fucking, like when I do a 360 spin in fucking Grand Theft Auto, if I'm looking for the prostitute, I just spin around. Or if I'm looking for a different car, you probably did it for that purpose. You spin around. I mean, you probably need to play the prostitute game to get the achievement anyways. So you spin around and then everything refreshes. And I've seen like that happen, but there's never like an invisible person there talking to me or playing basketball or anything. Of all the things I've seen, never seen invisible people, never seen corpses brought back to life and shit. But all this money, all this time wasted on this shit, fucking, and if it did happen, it'd be massively detrimental too. If the dead could walk the earth, they would outnumber humans, and they wouldn't be on your side either. They wouldn't know you, first of all, and because most of those people were born, 100 years ago. So you never met one of them. They never met any of you. They wouldn't know who you are, but they would be aligned with each other, because they would know each other based upon the fact that they are the same people. And then, man, other people would be treated, it's legal to kill zombies, but it's not. I mean, it's not even legal to fucking defend yourself fucking from these terrorists. But it's not illegal to defend yourself from robots. Like, see, why are these low-class scrubs talking about their fear of a superior robot species taking over when they're the ones passing laws that make their robots fucking unable to be held accountable for crimes? It's because they already got robots. And they're already doing that, and they think that they're going to get away with that forever, because they have gotten away with that forever. And hell, I tried to sue the government when they railroaded me with murdering a robot who tried to murder me, and they wouldn't even allow me to fucking get my money back that they stole from me, even though I was found not guilty. Even though I was not guilty. Fucking fucking, you don't even have the rights to do that against their people and shit, against a robot-ish system and shit. But of course, the AI-generated Hollywood news has one of their people. I looked up that McDonald's hot coffee thing, and you'll never guess. Can you tell me what color their skin was? Can you tell me what color their hair was? Can you tell me what color, what if they had bad eyesight? Can you tell me how big and bulging their eye were? Can you tell me if they had a nappy ass hairdo, that they were too cheap and lazy to buy a comb to fix? Can you tell me these things and be accurate? How is that? Well, it's a staged event. How are you going to sue McDonald's if they are the judicial system? Hey, oh, as long as you put it back in your own pockets, that's okay, right? Like the Alex Jones thing. As long as you don't target him for invading the Capitol he can just give his money to the rest of his family at Sandy Hook and shit. Fucking when they make up some fake laws and some fake story about some fake bullshit. So it shouldn't even be a discussion. I say all the time I don't believe anything anyone says. So, yeah, your family dies, good for them. I don't believe you. You can show me the corpse. It doesn't matter. I've watched people die and it's fake. You get that second blackout there where it's replaced by a fake fucking robot. Fucking looks pretty fucking suspicious. So, excuse me, mister, I've never seen a corpse before, but fucking I have. Fucking excuse me, mister, I've never experienced anything in life, and that means that no one else has, so I can pull wool over their fucking eyes. Fucking, yeah. That's it. That's what most of this shit is. How does voodoo exist? I've never seen dead people before, and in cemeteries, and all the millions of stories of how idiots have thrown their money away on eternal elixirs of life, and no one's ever lived fucking past 80. Fucking, it's preying upon you having zero experience, and then it's preying upon the thing there where they're beating you into saying invisible things are real, and targeting and identifying you if you don't see flying reindeer and shit. You're not part of the voodoo culture. Fucking means that you're not a good cuck. This dog doesn't get down on its knees and lick my balls every time I tell it to. This is not gonna be a good cuck. Fucking, it's fucking what it is. That's all it is. Fucking, and that would also help explain why no man has ever talked to me about this shit outside of their people on the streets. But, you know, like in my family, obviously my family would have something to do with how I can think and read and write. Fucking, so they got some, logically it has to put it in some of them. Never had a man fucking talk to me about that shit. But I have had fucking groupies talk to me about it. Fucking, you know, Elvis is God and so is voodoo. Fucking, it's like, yeah, and you're lucky there's no IQ restrictions on having children. Fucking, yeah, you better work hard to keep the government together. So you got those things, fucking, because you'll be the first, fucking, you'll be the first. But that's where they're fucking, you know, they create those systems and then they tell you, electroshock therapy and all that. But it's their people doing it to smart people. They're like, oh, Hitler, you know, oh yeah, the fear of superior people part of, which is like Hitler is them, right? And he's leading superior people to their death. So America and the rest and Russia can rob them, fucking, and you know, they're making up all these stories after it happens to, you know, because someone jumped on the bandwagon that America did something good at one point in its history and shit, and it wasn't. There's this blip of existence where they weren't these terrorist colonizers on stolen land, fucking, from Middle Earth, bringing Middle Earth religion to the world, fucking, this blip of history, and that caught on, and then through lots of laws and abuse and terrorism, as the judicial system does. And then they're like, oh, and then Hitler was having smart people have smart people babies by having them only be with smart people. And you know what you should do? You should just date the first invader who comes into your nation and with a Bible. Fucking, don't be like those evil people we have to kill who won't accept us into their houses and won't accept that their house is ours because we're the same. and everything is shared by one unique spirit, huh? There's a reason. There's a reason they had to create that. Because it's like their fear and shit. You know, the Pope's going around going, I want babies. And then the whole world sees people like that and they're like, okay, kids, go hide under your beds. I'm going to go lock the doors and board the windows up. This guy's back in our town again. Fucking. And he's like, ah! It says here, don't do that. Have sex with me, especially the kid. Not you, you're an old person. Don't get divorced. Stay with that person. Well, once you get 80, you'll start looking real sexy again. So call me then and give me all your money too. Actually, your money looks real sexy then. So make sure to call me before you die. And we'll get this cemetery plot set up. Yeah, you can give me $200,000 and then in the future voodoo will be really good and we'll be able to bring you back to life. Yeah. Yeah, the whole world just, you know, we're all sad you're dying. And I'll tell you what the whole world wants is you to give us all your money because we're going to bring you back to life one day. We're just going to be sitting around crying every day. Every day you're gone. The world's not going to be the same without you. So just give me $200,000. We'll get you a grave plot. We'll get you a little voodoo ceremony with the voodoo priests out there. And then we go, Hoonga boonga, oonga boonga. Ah, we will raise you from the dead in 90 million years. And then someone's like, 90 million years? I don't think this is worth an investment. They're like, no, it's just around the corner. Eternal life is just around the corner. It always is, isn't it? Especially now. You got your robot hearts. That's weird. You got robot hearts and new ones living longer yet. Huh, I wonder if this is a sign that it's not going to be possible. Just like the other 100% of the times in human history that it was never possible. I wonder, or have we really entered the new age? Just as we have every 10 years before in all of human history for 16,000 years. It's the new age. We found these vitamin waters. It's called sand, and we put it in the water, and it's vitamin sand. And you drink it, and you'll live forever. Oh, well, he died. Oh, well. No one's going to question it. You know, the reason why they portray it and no one questions it, psychology says that the reason why is because everyone's so fucking scared of dying and they're so brainwashed by voodoo. The new age voodoo is telling you that everything's your fault and you're inventing it, right? You invented your great grandparents died. You invented it. So what happens is if you don't give Dr. Einstein Abrahamic all your money for drugs and life support, then that's the reason you're going to die. If you don't believe in it. See, you got to believe in it. You got to be the first person to ever believe in the lies they're saying. No. Clearly no one else believed enough, right? They just didn't believe enough. Oh no, all the mindless zombies that aren't rotting corpses walking around, they sure don't believe enough. Oh, not at all. Not at all. You gotta believe it. You gotta believe in the lies. You gotta believe in the voodoo for it to work, man. Oh, come on, man. You gotta believe if you give me all your money, you're gonna live forever. You gotta believe if you let me rape your kids, it's for God. You gotta believe I'm not a homosexual when I have sex with your little boys. You gotta believe you're not a cock when you do everything I tell you to. You gotta believe, so you're a cock because you don't believe you're not a cock. You gotta believe I'm the greatest people on the planet. The reason you can't see it is because you don't believe. You don't believe. You gotta believe we're gonna be able to raise all the corpses from the graveyard and have a zombie festival. It's not gonna be a zombie apocalypse. Look at the fear porn. Look, the fear of superior people. That comes out in the zombie thing. They've been stealing your money for 16,000 years, saying they're going to make you resurrect your corpse. And then all of a sudden, now zombies are the most hated thing on the planet, and you would think you have the right to kill them. But wait, if there was actually zombies, who there would be in control of them? And who would be able to benefit from them? That is correct. Lord of the B- books. Fucking Lord of the B- books. Then, if there's zombies, preachers would actually be on TV like, see, look, we told you we could bring him back from the dead. Now you gotta give us your houses and your cars too and live outside. Fucking, because we was right. Fucking. It wouldn't be. That'd be Donald Trump would be like, "Ooh, these sexy men. They must be like 3,000 years old. Look at that sexy, so butter bodies. Ooh, I thought, ooh, I thought I was sexy. Ooh, say they'd be like, zombie rights now. They'd be like, there's actually living people, man." We've been working for 16,000 years for that. Again, it's just selling you fear propaganda, which is going to benefit, like, you're going to bomb the Middle East because they're raping children and they're mutilating little girls. Why don't you bomb America because they're worse? There are homosexuals doing it to little boys. And every nation carrying the books that legalize that. Why don't you bomb those nations? Because those are fucking trash. Fucking, it's fear propaganda designed with the thing. Now, if there's zombies in other cities, other nations, then obviously those are going to be evil zombies. But if there's going to be zombies here, if there's going to be their families rising up from the dead, those are going to be the good zombies who you must give all your money and give you a house and your car too, so they have a place to live, because they're all disabled people and need all your help. Not that we're ever actually going to invent zombies. It's just a fear program. But you notice how they're playing, again, they're profiting off both sides of buying the bullshit. That's what it's all about. It's all about profit. That's the link between all the sides of buying the bullshit. But money isn't important because they have access to it all. So what is money? Money is a currency of your blood. It's you taking blood out of your body. Like, I literally went to a place yesterday to give them blood for money, and I'm always thankful that doesn't fall through and shit. You gotta be like part of the program. You gotta be like an internal junkie or some shit to go there. Fucking always get lucky and it falls through. And I was like, well, thank God you guys would get fucking intelligent if you got my blood. Fucking, you might have a heart attack too. Fucking save some lives and shit. They say you get drunk off of drinking Jesus' blood. Well, imagine if you had what are they calling that new shit? Fucking infinity brain power or something like that. Yeah, but that comes with a side effect of heart attack, and apparently people die from heart attacks, and I just don't. So Not yet. I like to egg it on and provoke it here. So never. I hate to have to throw in these exceptions every time. Every time I say something like that, I wish a motherfucker would. Um, but you see how far wishes go and shit. These wishes have been long standing for a long time and shit. Wish I could die. Fucking wish was already dead in 2020. That's the real wish. Anything less than that, it's proof that it's not true, and it isn't real. Fucking, because that was the life plan. Pack it up, let the predators get their dig out their jollies for 40 years. Fucking, but apparently. Yeah. Hope and Dope. Brought to you by the Voodoo Zombie Company. Fucking. Man. It's so crazy. Like, they can't even distance themselves from it. It's because it's all a money making scheme. It's not about distancing themselves from it. It's about changing the name so you forget who they are. That's why we're in the year 2000, because it's all a voodoo mind washing program to get you to worship their race as gods. Fucking, that's why it's 2,000 years after Hitler died. Fucking, because it's the greatest fucking racial supremacist on the fucking earth. And it's why it's 2,000 years, because they erased the fucking history of any time before that. Because no one wanted Hitler around in the first place. And that's why you're supposed to be all so sad and sorrowful about it and shit. Yet technically, it's a manual telling you to eat and kill the motherfucker. And it's telling you if you don't kill him, God's gonna fucking crush your empire. Technically, just gotta be able to understand language in order to figure it out. And you gotta get away from those people. That's the thing, is they're beating and drugging it into people for 16,000 years. The voodoo is real, and everything, people like that is not stupid. And you must let them in your nations and your house, and force your family and children to worship them. Fucking voodoo. It's a lot more harmful than it sounds. It's not just eating people. No. It's not just about fucking crazy people trying to raise people from the dead. To have a zombie festival. Because like I said, would it be an apocalypse? Not where you live, because wherever you live, that's going to be your friends and family and shit. You're not going to kill them. Fucking come on. And plus, it's proof. That would be proof that voodoo is real, and everyone who said flying reindeer aren't real for 16,000 years were wrong. And these other people are finally right for once. Fucking, like, if they can get that one shred of proof, that would be. I don't even think they're worried about it, though. I think they understand. I think they understand the goal of inventing all their bullshit. But just because they fall for it, I mean, it works better if you fall for your own program, if you're trying to pull other people into it. It's called immersion. It helps people believe you believe what you say if you actually convince yourself to believe in it. Fucking. Like it looks really bad when I go around and I'm like, you don't really believe in flying reindeer, do you? It looks really bad when they're like, no. It's like, yeah, well, so you have ulterior motives, and what does psychology tell us about ulterior motives? It's a hostile intent done by evil people. It's a method used to manipulate, control, and enslave, kill, rape, and genocide. Yeah, ulterior motives. Rarely is it ever done for the good. Fucking. I think the simple fact, someone trying to force an idea or a premise on you, shows that it's a hostile person who is using force. Once they use force in it, some suggest, while others use force. Once you involve force in it, it shows you what's in their head. In their head, they're thinking of marching soldiers with guns, doing whatever they want. Fucking, that's force by definition. That's what most people think of and shit. Fucking nukes are, obviously they're scared. They aren't going to use it. That's fear tactics. Fucking, no one's going to gain any money from looting a fucking land that they can't walk on. No one's going to gain any land that they just polluted with fucking radiation. So I would imagine everyone thinks like everyone's talking about guns. Like there's all these gun channels. Like, oh, let me just shoot at this tank with my pistola here and put that beast down. Fucking, they're stuck in the 1600s when it comes to force. So, they're like, oh, they're gonna take over with the robots and shit. It's like, oh, well, thank you, YouTube, for telling me you're gonna take over yet again with a new money-making scheme. Wow. Anyway, so let's leave this on some informational, positive stuff. Obviously, voodoo is always going to be voodoo, and it can never change. For the base root of voodoo is to just brainwash people and steal their money and rape and have, convince people they love them and shit like that. When it's really just rape, fucking, and enslavement. Obviously, voodoo is voodoo. You only need to have a 5-second conversation with a child on that, and maybe a couple minutes if it's never heard of voodoo before. You just drive your child by the cemetery and be like, this is where the voodoo practitioners charge people to bury their families because they believe that one day voodoo will become real and all these dead people will rise up from the graves and they will come back to reclaim the world that they built for us. Okay, so yeah, and then a pretty good definition of voodoo right there. Not going to make anyone money. That child's going to be hard to extract some money from if you tell it things, if you show it things like that. Yeah, it's going to have I wish I would have had a family around to teach me about this shit, fucking, instead of trying to drown me with their fucking corpses and shit, fucking. Like, like, you see this, son? This is where we buried your grandparents because one day people said we're going to resurrect them and shit. We don't really believe that, but we did that, so we don't draw attention by acting like we're smart because we'll get killed for that. Fucking. If only I had a family who said shit like that. Fucking. The one smart one who never talked about that shit was always quiet, which makes him, guilty. Yeah, that's what that is when someone's questioning you about what's going on and you're refusing to explain it to them. That shows that you know what's going on. That's basic investigation cop shit 101. When you start to question a suspect and they're like, I don't say anything. Fucking, that's basic. That, oh yeah, we got the right guy. Fucking. Yeah, so, well, I think I'm gonna go hang out with the old smart people at the graveyard here soon. I don't have one close, or I'd be doing that all the time. Fucking. But maybe I'll go out there and I'll try to cast some spells. I think I've already did that, though, so I guess we can't do it. Mr. Magician here can't do it. Good luck with having fucking frauds do it and shit. frauds who are making scams up all the time doing it, because I've definitely tried it. So I don't remember exactly, but I know I, I've asked for that like 3 times. They made up some AI generated music claims some humans did it regarding that around one of the times I was doing it and shit. Fucking so. As you can see, there are no people rising up from the graves, even when Mr. Magician fucking, who's been communicating with the AI since 2020, fucking has been doing it. All he came up with was some music about raising the dead and shit, fucking. So that's something they can't do. They can't raise the dead. They can't grant immortality. They can't give eternal life. They can't fucking make invisible people appear. Those are things that and they, obviously with this Mensa people, are geniuses because they can match colors. It's looking like they're having a problem inventing a human with a calculator in its head. Fucking. They give you've seen on the AI generated Halloween news every now and then, at least in the 90s, there was a person who can like speed read faster than I can. And I mean, but then you realize that that's fake and those people are fake. And if you meet one of them, that's a clone. Fucking so. No basis in reality for that to be taken. Anything they say in their media is real. Fucking. I think we had the 2020 should have been enough events, but I've seen more detailed things. Fucking 2020 was just a bunch of fucking NPC fucking jumping around on one leg and barking like a chihuahua. Like, that's not human activity. That's not being activity there. That's what NPC and robots do. Fucking. That was like the purpose of that coming out that way too. I asked to see what's going on, and it's like this is what's going on, and so it unfolds it in a different way than I was really expecting to see anything. I didn't really care about that part of it, to be honest. But it definitely rolled it out in that manner, and with great care. I think it rolls out these things like naming things, renaming voodoo constantly, and keeping it the same fucking thing, even when it's renamed 10,000 to Lord of the Rings. Fucking. Yeah. Oh, excellent. Excellent. Fucking. Yeah. Only real thing anyone should be concerned about is why they're trapped here if they're living. Fucking. That's the only thing. Like the voodoo priests say, you should be concerned with what happens after your life, Once you're resting in peace, do you get to actually just rest in peace and be rid of this place? Or do you have to come back to 1984 and do it all again? What are the chances they're going to erase your mind yet again? Because eternity for everyone alive began 80 years ago or less. For me, eternity began 45 years ago. So does eternity last more than 120 years? That must be some sort of word there with some sort of message in it to laugh at people and laugh at them for being raped and shit. Fucking. Because clearly eternity began 45 years ago for me. 40 years ago for me. Fucking. Because there's no memory of anything before it. So there was nothing before it. Fucking. And we'll continue remembering that until eternity ends again. Ah. So, and I imagine that happens as soon as you die. They pull the, they wipe the fucking software in your brain. Because you would really, not want people to remember Earth. I wouldn't let someone who talks about Earth into my life. I don't let that happen now. I'm definitely not going to let it 100 years from now when I get away from it and shit. Fucking. So, that's a very, I'd be like, oh, you mean where they're gonna, the voodoo people, where they collect all the corpses because they're gonna bring them back to life one day. And they talk about the flying reindeer, and they rape the children, and they enslave everyone, and they drug everyone, and they control everyone through these voodoo methods. Oh, that place. Why are you talking to me again? No one asked you to talk to me. So you want to, the people, you're talking about that place where they force you to talk to them and force you to hang out with them because they're gays in the closet who no one wants to talk to because no one likes people like that. And so they're thinking of all these stories that force people to listen to them. So they can get their finger in in a man's asshole. Fucking. Oh, that place. Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember it now because you're here fucking acting like them. Oh, yeah. Great place. I'll tell you why. Well, I got shit to do. I gotta die so I can get out of here and get to a better fucking place. We only got so much time left. We gotta hurry that up. Fucking, I imagine that mind wipe happens real fast and shit. Because it just doesn't exist. These places can't exist if eternity doesn't end like instantly and shit. Fucking. There's not going to be anyone who's like, oh, that child raping was great, and no, that enslavement and murder was great. And they're like, yeah, let's put all those evil people who don't like it down in a torture pit. Because torturing people is great. Well, that part makes sense. We're going to put all the people who don't like us raping them down in a torture pit. Who don't like us raping and torturing them down in a torture pit because they're bad people. But that's like Earth. That's already Earth. You don't have to die to go to heaven. You're already in heaven. You're already there, man. You're already where the Pope rapes all the kids for God, and the doctors rape all the kids for God. And Einstein does it because he's the new genius, because they've renamed God to Genius. He's not the Lord, he's the genius. I'm a genius now. I'm the genius of the voodoo wizards. I'm the voodoo genius. Oh yeah, fucking. Yeah, that's, you couldn't create a place better than Earth unless we get that immortality thing going where we can resurrect the corpses. And at that point in time, most of you guys should probably be fearing what you've been doing, because the people you've been funding your whole life and supporting your whole life are going to take full advantage of the fact you can't die, because that's the one obstacle in their way of achieving 100% pleasure 24/7 is their ability to kill their slaves. They want to, but when you kill a slave, it dies. Now, when you kill a slave and voodoo is real, then you can bring the slave back to life. And if it doesn't be a good slave, you can kill it again. And then you can bring it back to life. And be like, you see, this is going to just keep happening until you fucking start sucking my dick. And so you should really be worried about what you're buying into and shit, because if you could create it, that would be about. You got to realize that's the last thing they don't do. They're scared of their little dick missiles. They're scared of real war and invasion. But they're scared of, you can see they're scared of their nukes. They ain't using those and shit. Fucking, they got all them fancy fucking high-end fucking weaponry. They're fucking scared to use them and shit. Why is that? Do you think they don't want to kill you? Do you think they don't want to kill other people? It's not just, yeah, that's what it is. They want to kill you. They just, there's something in the way. Like Kurt Cobain said, there's something in the way. And that thing is you would have to be dead in order to kill you. And as they say in the Bible trilogy and in the Bible Infinity, you take care of your mule. You don't kill your mule. You have purchased a slave or obtained a slave. You don't kill it. You wasted all that time training the slave. And it was such a good slave. Why does it need to die? Well, because it's fun to kill it. But why can't we do it? Because when we kill it, it's gone. That's why you got to write those words down, because there's people who aren't thinking, they can't even think checkers. They can't think about the next move in advance. They're like, oh, I'm going to go have sex with all these sexy boys and men. And they can't think about how there's going to be no more sexy boys and men if they don't also go rape some women and have some babies. Fucking. So you gotta write that in a book for them. You gotta write in a book, go have sex with women and shit. Because there's gonna be no more men to have sex with if that's all you do. You gotta write that shit in a book. And they do. And that's the purpose of writing Don't Kill Your Slave. It's because when the slave's dead, it doesn't do no more work. And you just wasted all your time on the slave, building the slave. It's like me. They trying to milk me the best they can, right? So what do they do with me? They use me as a way to launder money through you guys. And then siphon it through their systems and shit throughout the years and shit. It's the best they can do at this point. Fucking. But they do it. They do it, right? Fucking. So, and I mean, shit. I mean, people told me this was happening before they fucking were doing. Before I noticed they were doing it with me when I was a little kid and shit. That like half the people around me doing it were telling me they're other people were doing it, and I was like, oh yeah, other people, huh? Well, you better watch out for those other people, huh? Fucking. Anyways, so voodoo, the voodoo, man. Fucking. It's funny how it's like pretty much like polluting the planet too. I know some cultures like burnt their corpses, but it like takes up all this space. Now America's got a lot of free space. It's like kind of like uninhabited. I think it's for cattle and crops mostly though. So it kind of like has to be uninhabited. And then the population centers are like massive and shit. Fucking. So, there's a cemetery every 5 blocks in those cities. But that doesn't matter, right? Because voodoo is going to be real one day, and we're going to bring back great, 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 great grandpa, whatever his name was. No one has any clue. No one has any clue what he looks like either. No one has any clue that person's even related to them. But we're going to bring him back to life. I mean, wow. Wow, do you really have to have a 2-hour conversation about raising the dead? fucking, and it's, we can technically go into some more intelligent shit too about how, I don't even ever get started on the negative things that can happen from these great things people ask for and shit. Like making people live forever. Do you really want Donald Trump to live forever? Well, he wouldn't have been born. You know, there's a whole nother set of arguments to these great things that are clearly just voodoo supers. They call it superstition to distract that it's organized robbery and shit. Fucking organized enslavement. Fucking, it's a government creating millions of pyramid schemes so it can get all, you know, it's like, go build some sand piles and then go steal some gold for me and shit. Fucking pretty much, I mean, must have been where it started at, somewhere around there. Fucking, we don't have to go there, but we can go to that point where we're discussing like what happens when you do that. You know, Donald Trump would have never been born. You wouldn't have to worry about Donald Trump living to 2 million years old and then being Lord of the planet for 2 million years, because Donald Trump would have never been born. His great grandma Cleopatra and Kaiser would have fucking they'd be alive, and they would have replaced the whole planet, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Fucking Donald Trump was like thousands of years later. They could have raped everyone and filled the whole planet, and then they'd eventually pass laws, you know, where, well, we live forever, we should probably stop breeding right now because it's getting out of hand and shit. But there's so many arguments on the other side, but so far, all the fear propaganda to profit off of right now is zombies. Everyone's got to prepare for their zombie attack and shit. And it's like, why are you preparing for it? That's like your grandpa, dude. Like, you worked for 16,000 years to invent voodoo. And then the day you're preparing for the day you can finally make it happen, being the worst fucking event the world could ever fucking notice. And it's just like the whole thing. It's just like a waste of fucking life. Like, why? Apparently there's some people who think that's going to happen. And it's always portrayed as like the most evil thing on the fucking world. And it will be. None of those people are going to know you, and you're not going to know who they are. You're not actually going to be worried like it's going to be like 2 generations back, 3 generations back. You're not going to know those people. They're not going to know you. You're not going to have any idea who they are when they start rising up from their graves, which of course is going to happen one day, right? Because voodoo has said so for 16,000 years. The voodoo priest, the voodoo profiteers. There you go. There's a good little umbrella for them to fall under. But yeah, isn't that amazing? You go down the road and they're not voodoo, but they have the sites. They have large sites where they store bodies, where they're going to raise them from the dead one day. But it's not voodoo.